Hey guys, Green Zephyr here. So here we are feeding Pickle, and hopefully this stream will go much better than last time. Last time it was a little bit awkward because of the cockroach incident. Okay, so now Pickle is eating this cricket. Really quick. Okay, so I put the link to my other channel in the chat. That's the one I do most of the Mantis videos on. However, I cannot go live from my phone on that channel because I don't have enough subscribers, so that's why I do it here on Green Zephyr. But anyway, here is Pickle, and I forgot to put the lid back on the crickets. They're trying to get out. Okay, so Pickle recently laid eggs, so she is very thin right now. Also, unfortunately, that means that she is going to die soon. All I can do is just continue to feed her. And what happens with mantises is they'll just basically drop dead all of a sudden. They'll be eating perfectly fine. They look healthy, whatever, but then just one day they just all of a sudden die very suddenly after about 2 weeks after laying their eggs. So, and Pickle laid her eggs on Sunday. So hopefully she lasts a little bit longer than 2 weeks, but and as you can tell, she's going strong. She's still eating. She's a tad bit of damage to her in terms of just old age, where she has had problems with her feet getting messed up. The one that looks black right there is a little bit dried up and shriveled. She can't really walk with it very well. The back ones kind of curve a little bit. She's down to one good leg, and that's just what happens as they get older. She has a little bit of eye rot. So I could tell she was getting old. I didn't know she'd lay eggs or not, but she did manage to. And those will hatch in about 2 months or so. And then I'll have some baby mantises, which will be pretty cool. So she has pretty much bit the head off, it looks like. Yeah, munching on the head right now. And then after this, after I feed Pickle, we'll pull out Caramel. And of course, I'm going to give Pickle more than one cricket because she is, very thin right now from laying eggs. And Caramel actually laid eggs last night. So Caramel, that sadly means Caramel is also going to die in about 2 weeks, which kind of sucks, but that's how it works with these guys. But anyway, and Caramel's actually in much better shape. She actually has all of her body parts, every single leg, every single foot, both of her antenna. Pickle's missing like 2 feet, and another 3 are messed up. But she has all of her legs. And when I found her, she was missing her antenna and 1 foot. But then she's kind of just fallen apart a little bit, and that's just what happens as they get older. But yeah, Caramel's in much better shape. She's doing better in general. She's healthier. I didn't expect her to lay eggs this early, but she did. So that's kind of a nice surprise. She just, in general, looks more lively than Pickle. Pickle's just kind of, I don't know. Pickle's also extremely rare because she's green. There are quite a few green Chinese praying mantises out there, but they're nowhere near as common as the brown ones. And even Caramel is special. So normally they're like a dark brown with like the green stripe on the wings, whereas you can see on Pickle, the stripe is like on the wing here. That is green here and then green on top as well. Um, and that's because they all have like all Chinese praying mantises have that typical marker there, that little green stripe. That's how you can tell, other than size. But uh, and caramel actually has this kind of caramel color on the same as Pickle's thorax there. They both have that kind of caramel color along with some green on both of them. Whereas like normally they would not have the caramel. Well, they wouldn't have the green. They look pretty much all caramel, kind of brown colored, a little bit darker. And you'll see when I pull out caramel, they actually look much different. But even then, and I sadly don't have an example of a normal looking one. Both of mine are kind of unique, which is pretty cool. Um, and yeah, the other thing, Pickle is about 5 inches long. Caramel is a little under 4, so Pickle's actually a whole inch larger than Caramel. I can rotate this here to get a better angle of the cricket getting eaten. So, and yeah, I do have like a lot more stuff to go show here. So we're gonna wait for Pickle to finish this one. The only problem is, yeah, like most of my videos, my other channel, Zephyr Nature, most of those are, well, I think all of them with the feeding is like sped up, like 10 times. And then of course, when you're actually watching it, sure, it's cool to watch, but it takes, 10 times longer. Normally it would take, well, like in the fast forwarded ones, the time lapses, the shortest time was like a minute, and the longest was like 4 minutes to eat a cockroach. I was like 40 worth of eating a cockroach, which was unbelievable. But that was the first food I fed Pickle, was a really big cockroach, and she, yeah, went to town on that thing. And then yeah, here we have just a small pet store cricket. Interesting thing is this cricket was actually dead when I fed it to her. The trick to feeding them dead things, because like people will tell you they only eat live things, and in the wild they only will eat live things. They're not going to go for something dead and just sitting there. But if you don't want to waste food, all you got to do is grab it with tweezers or your fingers and wiggle it around, and then when they grab onto it, they'll just start eating it because they think it's alive since you're wiggling it. It to them looks the same as if it was just crawling around and moving, so they'll take it either way. And so basically, that's how you get them to eat dead things as well. But anyway, and she's biting through the thorax now, going into the abdomen a little bit. I wonder, she has not dropped. No, she dropped a leg. I was gonna say she hadn't dropped any crumbs yet, but she's a leg that's, yeah, about to fall off all the way. Um, there was 2 times actually, fed her and she didn't drop anything. She ate the entire thing, and that was before, like directly before she was about to give birth. And of course, they didn't know she was going to give birth. I didn't expect her to, since I had her for a month and she hadn't yet. But then yeah, she did, and it was weird because I'm like, huh, she didn't like leave anything. She didn't drop anything. She ate every last piece of the cricket, which I thought was pretty interesting to see, because yeah, I just normally she leaves crumbs and stuff like that leg there, but yeah, those 2 times she actually ate all of it. Let me see if I can zoom in a tiny bit. Come on. The zoom features are kind of wacky on here compared to just normal camera. It's really hard to control zooming in and out. Like if you just want a tiny bit, it's not as easy. So it's kind of complicated to do that, but this is a pretty good angle. And yeah, she's pretty much done with this one. She has a little bit left. Then we'll get her a live one. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, just ask in the chat and I'll answer them as best as I can. There's obviously things I don't know, but I do know a whole lot about them. So if you need a question answered, I'll answer it the best I can. Yeah, there she goes. Yeah, the interesting thing is the amount of mouth parts they have. There's 2 little wiggly ones that are kind of like those little noodles kind of hanging off to the side, and they can kind of use those to bring food in their mouth. And then they have the 2 big jaws, which are the black tipped things that are chewing. They have a second pair of jaws that are red that go directly behind the black and green ones, and those basically take turns chomping You can kind of see it now. And then they have like 8 little feelers on the bottom of their mouth that have like 4 on each side. Then they have a pad on the bottom and a pad on the top. And so they basically have tons and tons of mouth parts. It's really intricate. And yeah, just tons of pieces. Here you can actually see how she's missing her antenna. The two black dots in between her eyes are where the antenna should be. She has like, I don't know, like a millimeter of antenna there. It's not that much. So yeah, she's pretty much done with this one. So we'll see if she drops that or if she actually finishes it all. Yeah, we'll get another one ready. Oh, got one trying to escape. You done, Pickle? You grabbed the wrong thing, Pickle. There you go. Yeah, she gets confused sometimes and grabs the tweezers, but it's not her fault. She just sees movement and goes to it. There we go. Here's a live cricket getting eaten. So that you'll see the difference here on how basically it actually moves around as she's eating it. And it's the interesting thing is, yeah, how they eat their prey while it's living. They don't have an effective way to kill their prey. So they actually basically just will eat it while it's still alive. And basically, oh, there goes some guts or something coming out there. But anyway, they basically eat their prey while still living, which is a very brutal way to go. So yeah, nature is metal. Praying mantises are extremely good examples of like very like powerful, efficient predators. They just it's very interesting to watch them eat and feed and even catch their prey. I want to sometime do a slow motion video of it like grabbing its prey. The only problem is Pickle's a little bit slow with grabbing because she's just older. Caramel's actually much faster and snags it really fast and then starts eating it. Pickle's a little bit slower. But yeah. And anyway, so you can still see, yeah, it'll still move around like even when it's just the head. I don't know what order she'll eat it in other than they almost always go for the thorax first, which is pretty interesting. Here she's going for a little bit of the abdomen. But sometimes I do have a video where she ate everything except for the head. The head was the last thing she ate. And even though all that was left was the head, it was still like the antenna were wiggling around and it was trying to bite her, even though all that was left was the head. And in my last live video with the cockroach, Caramel actually did not eat the whole cockroach, but did bite the head off. And basically, the head of the cockroach, the whole time for the rest of the video, the antenna were wiggling around because she didn't finish the job. So it was kind of, I don't know, poor cockroach. But yeah, there's the red jaws. You can kind of see that from the side now. They're harder to see than the big black ones because the black ones are in front of them. But yeah, you can see both of the pairs of jaws there working away at it. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. Oh, she's going for the thorax. She actually might decapitate it here. I don't know. So yeah, it looks like she's going to decapitate it here. She's just chomping and chomping, and the cricket's just, yeah. I don't know. Cricket's still alive, of course, even though it's getting torn apart here. She really is like just annihilating that thing. So yeah, she's basically just eating at the thorax right now. Usually they half, which is pretty interesting, and they'll hold like one half. Usually the head and part of the thorax in one arm, and then like the whole abdomen in the other. So here she goes, basically just eating at it. She has stopped biting it in half and is now more focusing on the abdomen. So that's pretty, yeah, interesting there. But yeah, there's just so many mouth parts at work. You can see all of the different little pieces moving around as she eats. And yeah, it's pretty interesting to see this take place. It's like something that like you don't get to see every day. You like have one as a pet and you get to like see this firsthand. It's really awesome. So I wanted to like share this with you guys because it's just really awesome to see how this goes on. It's an interesting process. Here goes. Oh, she's actually eating the jaws of the cricket, I think. Yeah. It's like the cricket's trying to bite her and she's just biting the head. So yeah, she's just taking chunks out of its face now and just she's about to bite off one jaw. Huh. Yeah, that's pretty interesting there. Yeah, going right for the jaws. So yeah, she's gonna probably finish off the head here then. Um, basically just chewing it into a pulp right now. Yeah, there she goes biting off the jaws. I think she won. But basically, if they can take out the parts that can bite them back, then that's safer for them because, yeah, Pickle has eye rot as well as a hole in her right eye, which you can kind of see there, that little whitish spot. Um, well, two whitish spots, and that's because before I found her, something chomped her on the eye as she was eating it. Also bit off both of her antenna and one of her feet, so she was like temporarily, well, she's just missing some body parts, but she's still doing well as a mantis overall. She's recovering from that. She's yeah, just doing fine. And here she is, yeah, just eating the cricket very voraciously. Yeah, tearing it apart, eating the head right now. I'm very surprised she hasn't bitten it in half yet. That's very interesting. Normally, yeah, they'll just chomp it in half, and that's a usual occurrence. You can see the orangish part with the black right there that she just like started eating. That was one of the jaws that she bit off, and yeah, she's just eating into that. I can see her abdomen is getting a little bit fatter, but even then, she still is that fat, and yeah, it's because she laid eggs, so she lost a whole lot of weight from that. Um, so basically, yeah, she's just in need of food. I mean, I've been feeding her a lot, but like she's just not gonna live too much longer because of the whole egg laying thing. Um, and then Caramel actually looks very awkward now because she's like super deflated after laying the eggs. So her abdomen is all like folded and weird looking. Pickles is kind of like that, but not as much as Caramel's. And let me see if I can get more of the mantis on screen. So if I can tilt this up some. There we go. There's more Pickle. Okay. And yeah, you can see her, some of her legs there and how the one on the left side of the screen, that one is um, her only good foot. Like that's the only one that's still good enough for walking. Like she can still use the other ones for walking. It's just very awkward for her. The one on the right side is the crispy one, and her back legs are just messed up. So she always just moves them around, as you can see, while she's like just sitting there eating or whatever. She'll just move her legs around because she just doesn't. She can't find a good position to set it in because like the foot itself is just kind of messed up. So like when she's walking across a stick or something, her um, this leg here is basically just tapping around because it can't find a good position to stand in since it can't grip things anymore. But anyway, she's doing a good job with the cricket now. She actually, there's still a little bit of head left actually. And I'm surprised she hasn't detached either of the back legs yet, but she's holding it by one of them and then got the abdomen and the other one in the other arm. Now she's pulling it loose. And let's see, this cricket was a female. You can see the ovipositor getting chewed at right now. And that's how they lay their eggs, although mantises don't really have an ovipositor like crickets do. It's not the same. But yeah, she's basically eating the ovipositor now. She's going to chew that up. And so actually, well, it might not, oh, and there it goes. You can actually see it splitting into like three pieces, and it basically expands like that so they can actually lay the eggs. So that's a good example of how you can see the ovipositor there getting chewed up. That's pretty interesting to see it split like that as she was chewing on it, but that's natural, and that's just how they lay eggs naturally. Although this cricket wasn't fully mature, it was still a juvenile. It had like one more molt to go before it became an adult, and you can tell that because it has slight wings formed but not enough to fly with, or really like they can't sing with it either, which is a good thing about pet store crickets, is that they don't sing at night, so it's very nice to have them compared to wild caught ones because yeah, those things will drive you crazy. I like they'll wake me up. I've had grasshoppers and katydids sing in the middle of the night, and that just it's very annoying because you can't sleep, so you got to just wake up and deal with that. So yeah. And yeah, there's the thing. You can see the cricket's legs. The back one there is still moving around, and the front ones are twitching a little bit. Although some of that's because she's chewing on the thorax there. But like the back one there is, it's yeah, the cricket's still alive even though it's missing the head. That cricket's still completely alive, and that's creepy how that works with bugs. But um, yeah, I don't know. That's how they eat their prey. It's very interesting. So yeah, she is now about to bite the leg off. The interesting thing I learned is that mantises will actually sleep, and they're one of the only bugs that do so. And so I've actually seen Caramel sleeping the other day. She was sitting uh, towards the bottom of the tank on the ground, and she was like kind of just like dozing off, like with her head and her front arms on the ground, and then she woke up and started moving around again. But the interesting thing is, yeah, that they're one of the few bugs that actually sleep, so they're closer. Like they have similarities to other like vertebrates and stuff that some other animals don't have, because like a lot of bugs and stuff don't sleep, but flies will also. Um, Spiders can sleep too, but yeah, the majority of bugs won't, which is pretty interesting. But mantises are one of the few that do, so that's pretty cool. And now she's either going to eat the rest of that leg or just drop it. And I don't know, but she's been chewing that up pretty good. But and here you can see both the jaw sets moving. You can see the red ones and the black basically just chewing it apart, which is it's kind of cool. It's like moray eels with their pharyngeal jaws, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, she just bit off the leg now, so who knows if she'll finish it or not, or if she'll drop it. She doesn't really like the feet part because they're all spiky and don't really have much nutrients. But she might actually eat the whole thing. It looks like she's going to. Yeah, she's pulling it in her mouth, even though it's all spiky. There goes the cricket twitching again. Yeah, she might actually eat all of that, which is surprising because, yeah, usually they don't really like the spines or the fact that it just doesn't have as much nutrients and like juicy parts as the rest of the cricket. But she is eating the leg here, so that's, I guess, kind of unusual. Usually they don't eat the very back ones. Usually they go for the front ones, or and even then they might not eat those. It's interesting. Um, and the other leg is volunteering to go into her mouth. Pretty funny. So yeah, she's pretty much finished off that leg now. She's gonna go for the rest. And that, yeah, there you can see the red jaws again coming out as she was chomping on that. And then yeah, the big black ones in front. So it's really cool to watch this, just all the different pairs of jaws moving around, and you can kind of see the longer filament kind of things moving around in front. And honestly, it looks like they're scraping food, like scraping up against the cricket. Um, and basically, yeah, they're just kind of used for feeling around like that. And yeah, so she's chewing up the remainder of the thorax now. Um, yeah, if anyone has any questions, ask in the chat. I know we got a lot more people than usual now, so if you have any questions, ask in the chat and I'll answer them. And yeah, here she goes eating the thorax. So, and yeah, she's going after that. And yeah, Pickle is going for one of the legs now. And you can actually see to the right side of the screen beside her leg that is not holding anything right now, that little nub that is sticking out on the side that moves around, that's the remainder of her foot. And that is normally how she would walk, but she's missing like the foot itself. She has the part of the leg there, but not the foot. But like whenever they're eating, the cool thing is that fold up against the outside of the leg so it doesn't get in the way when they're eating, so they don't accidentally bite it off. You can see the other one right up against the leg of the cricket on the left side of the screen. But like basically that's a cool mechanism for how they basically preventing them from biting their own feet off because they fold back like that when they're eating, which is like really effective. Um, their survival advantage, just yeah, helping them to not eat their own feet. Which, if they didn't have that locking mechanism, then there's a chance that they could accidentally bite off their own feet. There she goes for another whole leg. She actually might get this entire cricket. Although you never know, she could drop the other leg. But there's the leg of the last cricket that she didn't finish. Um, but she might actually finish this whole cricket. Now it kind of looks like she has, you can see those darker spots in her eyes. They look bigger than usual, which is very interesting. Um, I honestly do not know what's up with that. That is very weird how her eyes just did that. And I don't remember if they were like that the whole time throughout the video, but those black dots on her eyes are remarkably bigger than usual. So that might actually be more eye rot. I need to get a better view of her with like, uh, hmm. Yeah, that might actually be eye rot there taking into effect because normally they just have a smaller black dot, but here she has two really massive um, little dots there in her eyes. And yeah, I don't know how I didn't notice that before, but you can see all the different kind of just, her eyes are just, yeah, she's just old and basically because she's old, that basically when mantises get old, they kind of just fall apart, which yeah, sucks for them. But it's just part of how how they how they work. Another interesting thing I learned very recently. So apparently, occasionally the males will kill the females after they mate, and the thing is that it's basically, and they don't always kill their mate. It's like depending on how hungry the female is. So if the female's like really hungry and didn't have a big meal beforehand, she'll eat the male. But sometimes after they mate, the male will actually get so hungry that he'll kill the female. And so that actually is kind of like, that kind of sucks for the female because then the eggs won't be laid. But apparently, yeah, that does sometimes happen in nature, which is pretty interesting. And she actually has one of the other legs there trapped in with the back leg. And yeah, she might actually eat the whole thing, which would be interesting because this would be the third time she does it. She finishes the whole cricket. Of course, there's a leg there from the last cricket. But if she actually does eat that leg, then she's eaten the whole thing out of this cricket, which is pretty interesting. Because, yeah, it isn't always, they usually don't always eat all of it. They'll like anything that accidentally, like anything they drop, they're not going to finish because it's not like they don't think of it as alive, even though like it was probably perfectly good. Like if they bite off the head and accidentally drop it, they're not going to pick it back up and eat it. They're kind of, even though they're like neat and in terms of like they're not very messy as like a pet, and like their poop is actually dry, so it like doesn't cause a big mess or anything. But like they are kind of messy eaters because they will kind of just drop things, and then they're like the area they're eating at, there's just tons of insect parts just lying around from everything they didn't eat. And it honestly looks like she's going to drop the smaller leg here, or maybe both. But it does look like she's possibly going to eat the whole back leg. But I cannot tell if she's going to get the smaller one and drop it, or she's going to actually eat it. But once again, she's eating the spines and the legs, which is, yeah, unusual because usually they just don't like to chew on the spines. But she's going for it. She's actually going to eat that whole thing. And she might eat the smaller leg. And if she does, she ate the whole thing, which is pretty interesting. And so we'll see. Do you see it, Pickle? It's still in your arm. Yeah, did you cause a mess? There it is. You got it. Okay, Pickle. There's the rest of the leg. Eat that up. And you can see there's basically a groove where their leg goes together so that they don't like it fits in perfectly. So the spines fold up, and there's a groove that actually caves in on the inside of their arms so that basically it folds in perfectly. And there she goes with the unfolding of the feet part. And so let's see. She might do one more cricket, and then, and it depends on if she's hungry. We'll see. Let me get one. Sometimes it's a little bit harder than it seems. You gotta grab them by the back leg. Okay, Pickle. You still hungry? Looks like you are. So there we go, another live cricket, and she's going to take that one apart. She's biting off the leg first, might drop it. Yeah, it looks like she just bit it off. She might actually eat this one abdomen first, just because the head is at the very bottom. Actually, it looks like it's might actually try to bite her because the head is right up against the leg. So that could suck if, yeah, I think it's trying to bite her. Yep, and she just bit off part of that leg, so she will not finish that because anything they bite off and drop, they're just gonna forget about it basically. But so, yeah, here she goes on the remainder of the back leg there. And of course, cricket's still alive because that's how they eat their prey. Yeah. Now there's a very good view of her sets of jaws as they're chewing. And I've actually seen them. Pickle has before. She has tipped her head back and kind of like, if you can imagine like Jurassic Park, T-Rex eating someone, just grabbing it in its jaws, throwing its head back and getting the person to fall down its throat. Pickle's done that with parts of crickets. She's kind of just like tipped her head back and kept tilting it and like moving back and forth to get it to go into her mouth better, because if she doesn't have a good enough grip, she'll kind of do that. So it's a pretty good comparison anyway. It's pretty interesting to watch. I've only seen her do it once, so usually she just gets small enough pieces she can do that too. There she goes, cutting in the abdomen, and yeah, it does look like that cricket's trying to bite her. I can't tell for sure from the angle. But yeah, cricket appears to be chomping on her. So if I were her, I would start eating the head, but she's not. I mean, I guess she figures if she tears it apart enough, then it won't be able to. It'll be more freaked out than trying to like fight back. But I don't know. It kind of is. I think chewing on her, which yeah, she should like pay attention to, but I don't know. I think it's just biting on her spines. But yeah, there it goes, trying to escape again. And she's got it by, she's pretty much grabbed the entire abdomen, going lengthwise with it, and then she has like one leg grabbed with the other arm. She gets a nice lock behind the head. That would be a better position so it couldn't really bite her. However, yeah, she has it by the leg, and the cricket looks like it's trying to get at her. But yeah, and the interesting thing you'll notice is the eye rot there. It's just, yeah, those black dots. It's just, she's gotten so old that her eyes are rotting, and that's just how they work. She has like the puncture holes in the right one on the left side of the screen. She has puncture holes in it, plus the eye rot on both eyes. And yeah, it's gotten progressively worse. This is the worst it's been, of course, because it's most recent. But yeah, and she laid her eggs, and so she has about a week and 2 days, I would say, to live I don't know if it's at most or not, but I hope she'll survive longer. But she's, yeah, not too good a condition, and basically they eat and look healthy until they die. Like, even though she's technically not exactly looking healthy, she's like, she'll be active, she'll be moving around, she'll still eat perfectly fine, and then the next day she's just all of a sudden dead. But they go pretty peacefully compared to male mantises. Male mantises die pretty messed up, like they kind of spasm and get really bad. But yeah, the females aren't quite as gross and weird when they die. So hopefully Pickle won't be as bad when that time comes. Yeah, unfortunately, she doesn't have too much too much longer left just because she laid the eggs on Sunday. So, but I've enjoyed my time with her. Um, so it's certainly been fun to have her, and hopefully she lasts a lot longer. But I don't think so, based on the just based right here on the amount of eye rot that's going on. I don't know how much longer she can last, but I'm hoping for the most amount of time as possible. And there she is eating the ovipositor again. She just like split it into 3 pieces. I don't know if she'll get those or not. I think one might fall. But yeah, when she bites into that, you can see yeah, there goes one piece. But it's really interesting to see how they like attach together, and how like, because like normally you would just see the one spine, but they kind of split into thirds, and the eggs come out of the middle of there, which is interesting. And yeah, when Caramel laid her eggs, she actually had she basically just sat there and let the foam harden, and then she tried to lay more eggs in it, which didn't really work out because um, the foam hardened. So basically, she just wipes them onto the foam, and they basically just stuck to it. But also, you could see some of the eggs sticking out from the foam, which isn't very typical. Pickle's egg case was much better than Caramel's, but anyway, and there goes that leg is most likely going to fall now unless she gets a good grip on it. There goes the second part of, oh, yeah, second part of the ovipositor just fell. There goes the third. Um, the fourth one is actually still being held on there. She is. And you can actually see the wings there of the cricket, those little striped kind of interesting designs there in between the thorax and then part of the abdomen. There's a little wing there. And yeah, after the last molt, the wing gets to be big enough they can fly. Right now, and of course it's not going to get to because Pickle's eating it, but yeah, this cricket's still a juvenile. But yeah, they don't really get much bigger. Yeah. Once again, if anyone has any questions, they can put that in the chat or comments or anything. But yeah, she's already dropped quite a few crumbs, including a leg and then 3 parts of ovipositor. She basically bit one of the ovipositor pieces in half because there's a 4th one that she's still holding on to. You can see that there in her arm, that little spike. She's not cleaning herself because she got a little bit of guts on her arm. And there she goes, going back to the abdomen of the cricket. She's, yeah, going to get another grip on it just to make sure she doesn't drop it because her one arm has only like 2 legs grabbed in it. And so if she does drop it, I could possibly get her to go at it again. If I just dangle it in front of her, she might go for it again. I don't know. I've tried that with her before, and she has not taken it. But but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, the wing is actually right next to her mouth now, and it kind of looks. It's just like a little segment going off. The other wing is actually being gripped a little bit. Arm, of course, now it's out of view. But yeah, one of the wings is what she's about to chew on now. It's actually right there under her mouth now. Yeah, there she goes. The wing is right by her pad on top of the mouth. And yeah, Cricket's going back now. Cricket's biting on her. It's like, I'm not going to let you kill me. Cricket, I swear. You better not chew up Pickle. There we go. She got a better grip on it now. Now the head isn't able to chew on her, so she recognized that she was getting chomped on, which is good. Because yeah, that would suck if she lost part of her arm to that cricket, and that's just the dangers of live food. But that's how mantises eat, and yeah, that's just unfortunately how she lost her antenna and got that chunk taken out of her eye. But that's just the problem with them eating naturally. Just yeah, if they eat live food, it's gonna take chunks out of them, but occasionally. But that's just how they're forced to eat. That's the one disadvantage to being a mantis, is that when they eat, they have a chance of their prey biting them back. And in Pickle's case, that's how she lost her antenna. Yeah, that cricket's getting its abdomen eaten now. And it's still alive. You can see the antenna moving and the legs. So it's still basically, even though, yeah, it's just pretty much missing half of its body, it's still alive there. But, you know, not for long. It's going to be pretty much completely eaten soon. And I do have an event at some point that I got to go to. I'm doing some insect pinning for 4-H. I'm going to be donating some insects to the 4-H kids of Kansas. So we're going to be donating some stuff to them. So at some point I got to do that, but not too soon. But anyway, we'll get out Caramel after Pickle finishes this and get around to her eating. And yeah, she is just kind of, Caramel's just like at the side of the tank, kind of tapping on the glass. She's a weirdo. I saw one mantis actually climb the glass, not one of mine, but one of the insect zoo here actually was just climbing on the glass. Mine can't really do that. They don't have good enough grip to walk on glass. It was a flower mantis, and I was just climbing up the glass. Yeah, Pickle's doing good at eating that cricket. And it'll be interesting to see, though, when she makes it to the head, if she will, like, slurp up the antenna like a noodle. It's very interesting to watch that because it's basically like someone slurping up pasta. They'll just, yeah, if she makes it to the head and doesn't bite off the antenna by accident, she'll basically just chew them up. And there's the whole head. You can see the eyes and everything. But anyways, yeah, she gets the antenna. It doesn't just straight up bite it off and drop it. She'll basically eat it like a noodle. Yeah, okay, she might not drop it. Actually, she's going for the eye. You can see the remaining parts of the head there. Yeah, she's about to. It looks like she's going to bite off that antenna, and most likely that means it gets dropped, which won't get, like, it means won't be as good of a view of like how that happens with the chewing part. But it is very interesting to watch as they like slurp it up. It's very comparable to a human eating noodles when they slurp up the antenna. Okay, I think she's doing it actually. She has it at a bad angle. She's gonna chew it. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, she didn't do it as cool as I expected. Yeah, there she goes. And there's a jaw of the cricket. There's still at least one jaw there. I can't really tell for sure if both are there. I think only one is. But yeah, she's just gotten down to that. And she's almost done here. And unfortunately, hopefully I don't get copyright claims. Someone's blasting their music outside, so that sucks. So hopefully, yeah, YouTube doesn't pick up on it, or if I keep talking, that might help. But they need to just like drive off or something instead of just blasting our music in the parking lot. Might be able to solve that by plugging my air filter. I might do that just in case. Although she's pretty much done with that cricket. There's a little bit of stuff left. She might eat that leg. This one she's more messy with. And of course, yeah, she's actually holding the other leg still in her arm, in her left arm. So the one on the right side of the screen, she's still holding that leg. So we'll see if she actually goes for that or not. And let's see, I'm going to really quickly do that. And 1 second, we will get the, it'll be harder to hear me talk, but hopefully it drowns out the music for YouTube. Yeah, that works. Yeah, I didn't know if you could hear it or not, but certainly I don't want YouTube to get upset at me. So best thing is to hope that problem is fixed. And yeah, it does look like she is going to finish off those legs there. So yeah, she just dropped one of the back ones and the ovipositor. When I fed, great, okay. When I fed her the bumblebee that one time, the legs were actually kind of just breaking off as she was eating them, which was pretty interesting. And they literally turned up their music. That's great. Okay. You done, Pickle? Yeah? Are you full? You might not be. I'm going to give her some water now. Pickle, do you recognize this? See how she basically just holds that droplet and she slurps it up. It's really cool how that works. They basically just hold it in their mouth and kind of do that. Like, isn't that the coolest thing ever? Like, how great is that? Yeah, it's just really amazing to watch how they do that. I need to get a separate video of this upload, but like, oh, she dropped it. But like, it's really interesting to just watch them do this. Like, it's just very interesting to watch them drink. Yeah, just slurp up the water droplet. And there she goes. She looks pretty much back to her original weight, so I say a pretty good job of feeding her there. That's probably enough water, maybe a little bit more depending on if she wants it. Nope. Pickle, you gotta. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And my phone just warned me that it's about to explode. So yeah, that sucks. And I have a thing at 5 for me, 5 Central US time, so that's like 11 minutes. So I might cut this short, I don't know. But anyways, that was a fun time of feeding her, and I can pet her. Oh, she still some water, okay. So yeah, she didn't completely get that. So yeah, you're a good girl, Pickle. She's being very curious. Yeah, are you full now? Yep, you're a good girl. Okay, well, I guess I will stop the video now, so thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. I gotta go to an event, so sorry we didn't get to feed Caramel. I might do that later for a video, but anyway, it was fun to do this, and Pickle certainly enjoyed getting the food, so I will see you guys later.